Hey, everybody. Hope and pray that you're doing well today as we come to our word from the Word. And today, that word is words. Words. We'll just throw that word in there everywhere we can get it today. Now, as we follow up right where we left off from yesterday, in Jeremiah chapter 43 today, Jeremiah chapter 42 yesterday, we talked about what the people had said they will do. They wanted a word from the Lord. They come to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, seek him out. Would you please find out something? Let us know. And hey, we're going to obey it. We're going to do whatever the Lord tells us to do. And almost imagine, we have seen the word of the Lord already come true. So we want to do what he says. And Jeremiah, whatever you tell us, good or bad, we will obey it. Well, it took about 10 days, and the Lord sent a word through Jeremiah. Jeremiah shares with the people in a nutshell. You can go back and read this in chapter 42. He says, don't leave. I know you really think you ought to leave to have safety, but you stay here. I will protect you. Don't flee to Egypt. That's what he told him. Jeremiah chapter 43. Today, the first 7 verses. Now it happened when Jeremiah had stopped speaking to all the people, all the words of the Lord their God, for which the Lord their God had sent him to them, all these words, that Azariah, the son of Hashiah, Johanan, the son of Kareah, and all the proud men spoke, saying to Jeremiah, you speak falsely. The Lord our God has not sent you to say, do not go to Egypt to dwell there. But Baruch, the son of Neriah, has set you against us, to deliver us into the hand of the Chaldeans, that they may put us to death or carry us away captive to Babylon. So Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces and all the people would not obey the voice of the Lord to remain in the land of Judah. But Johanan the son of Kareah and all the captains of the forces took all the remnant of Judah, who had returned to dwell in the land of Judah, from all the nations where they had been driven, men, women, children, the king's daughters, and every person whom Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, had left with Gedaliah, the son of Ahikaam, the son of Shaphan, and Jeremiah the prophet, and Baruch, the son of Neriah. So they went to the land of Egypt, for they did not obey the voice of the Lord. And they went as far as Tahpanhes. Now, aside from the fact that I probably mispronounced a few of those names there, the worst part of this story is the fact that you look and they had declared what they were going to do. We will obey the word of the Lord. And then they flat out rejected what he told them to do. Now, I'll be honest, as I read that, and I pray as you hear that and you read that, that you would almost just be upset with them of how could you say that you basically swear up and down this is what we're going to do. Let God, as God is my witness. That's what they essentially say. Let him be that faithful witness, as we know he already is anyway. As God is our witness, we will do whatever you tell us to do. And yet, as soon as they hear that he tells them to stay there, they automatically begin, the old devil, he starts getting in their mind and he says, that's not what you're supposed to do. That, if I tell you what, Jeremiah probably really didn't get that from the Lord. Jeremiah probably really has been influenced by Baruch, his scribe, because they always wanted us to stay here anyway. They're kind of partial to the Babylonians, right? Remember, they said they wanted us to surrender to them, and you can just hear the thoughts and the plots going on, saying that's not really what happened. Jeremiah is trying to trick us so they can kill us all here. Now, we would look at that. We get upset. But then at the same time, I cannot help but think how many times we have said to the Lord what we will do. And then just like this group, that promise becomes empty words. That's why that's our word from the word today. How many times have we said something to the Lord and it was just mere words? There was no action. You remember what the Lord says? He says, tells us and tells Saul and he tells others, think about this. Think about how the Lord views obedience compared to sacrifice. Think about that. We may say, well, we'll sacrifice everything, but then when it comes down to it, we're still disobedient to the Lord. He says, I would rather you be obedient. Be obedient to the word of the Lord. Today, whatever God has called you to do, and maybe even yesterday, what you thought that you were feeling like you were supposed to do, and you told God, I will do this. Don't let that promise, and there's plenty of times that we say it sincerely at that moment, that's really what we strive to do. And honestly, it's one thing to kind of slip and not quite attain what we had desired to do. But it is another thing entirely to spit in the face of God, to hear his word and completely and utterly reject it. And that's what this group did. They heard the word of the Lord. It did not line up with their plans. So they automatically assumed that the one that was telling them must have had some other angle. Now, at least I know you've never said that about a preacher. Right? Oh, it was never the fact that the preacher was trying to get across an agenda. Maybe sometimes when that word hit you, that word from the Lord hit you a little bit differently, I'm sure the preacher was just trying to point you out. I'm sure it was just something that he said. It wasn't actually from the Lord. Now, if we think about that, how many times have we probably heard a word from the Lord and rejected it, making our promise, making our will nothing but empty words? What are your words saying today? God bless you, and I pray you have a great, great day.